welcome back to my channel, Imperfectly Natalya.
Wow.
Today we are doing a video on recommendations, what people need to know before, well, some stuff people need to consider before they come to Canada.
Yeah, basically our recommendations based on our experience.
Yeah, so if you're coming to Canada or if you would like to move to Canada, this is for you.
Yeah. So if you're moving as a family or as, a couple, it's best to do it in stages, you understand? Why we say that is a case where we did it in stages, where I came like
September 2018 on a study and on a work and study permit.
Yeah, I came here as a student. Ati then came February 2019, which is about a few months later.
By myself without our son.
You understand? And then Zaya came, I think, 1 year later.
Yeah, March 2020.
March 2020, which kind of made it easy because I was able to tough it out for a few months. She was able to come and settle down and start working. Then he came, and all the expenses surrounding a young baby, got worked out, as opposed to us coming as three one time and having to work out all of the situations surrounding daycare, finding work, studying and working and stuff. So
because at that time it was easier for us to send money back to Jamaica instead of actually finding the money here to pay for daycare and everything.
Yeah, it would have been.
At the point where I came to Canada in 2019, he was one.
Yeah.
Daycare fees would have been like $1,200 per month.
Yeah.
No, at that time we weren't even paying that much for rent.
Yeah.
Because that will take us to our other point, which is sharing. So as I said a while ago about daycare was that amount of money while we were sharing an apartment with two other persons. We literally paid $500
for the room that we were in.
Yeah, it was about $530.
Yeah. So basically what she's saying is accommodations. Try to find, say for instance, two or one person that is willing to share accommodations with you, and that would make it more easier on you in terms of overhead cost. So we were in a situation where I came in a situation where I met with two other Indian guys, Neil and Aman, and we got a 3-bedroom apartment, all of us having our own room, you understand? So that made it
and they shared electricity and
cable.
Yeah,
internet.
they shared not cable, but just hydro and internet. And ensure that your accommodation is close to your school.
Yes, very.
I would say. I mean,
if you can get a house, that's okay.
Exactly.
But there are usually apartments close by.
Yeah.
And the apartments, depending on the size and where they are, might be a bit expensive. So sharing for the first couple months should be easy, should be okay, or you're giving up some of your liberty, but
understand that you're doing it for the best.
Yes,
that's just what you have to consider. You're doing this for the best, and you won't stay in that situation for very long.
And I think that should take us over to the next point of find a work as your land.
True.
AKA
finding a job as soon as you get to Canada. I mean, I'm not trying to call him out, but
I didn't.
When he came, it was more of a he was trying to find something, but he didn't make it
a priority.
Yeah, so I would say
it was like, because remember, to make the move, you're gonna accumulate a lot of cash, right? And you're gonna have a lot of liquid cash on you. What will happen is that if you're not effective, you will quickly blow through that cash.
Buying food.
Listen, the simplest thing that blew through my cash that I think could have even helped me with purchasing a car was Starbucks. No, Starbucks coffee is like $5 for the smallest cup, and you will buy like one every time you go to school for class.
And I just want to say that Tim Hortons coffee is way more affordable.
Yeah, it's like $2 or $1 something. But
But no, honestly, as soon as you get to Canada, find a job.
Yes.
You have to find a job because it will ensure that money is coming in while money is going out.
While you're retaining what you came here with.
And be aware of these fast money jobs. They will encourage you to, oh, come, you know, and they prey on immigrants.
Yes.
Because they know that immigrants are coming and we want to make money
fast. Exactly.
Right? So
I think we should have a next one on those jobs, those type of jobs. We will provide you with different things on how to look for a job, what to look for as, no, this sounds too good to be true, what to know, because I'm not going to go into it here.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Listen, be honest, tell yourself, say, at this point in time, there's no mediocre job. So while you might be in a setting in a Jamaica where you're working at a bank and then come here and look at it and say, me now working on a Walmart, guess what? Your money is sure in Walmart.
So I would say call centers.
Yeah, call center is a big thing.
Restaurants.
Yes.
As he said, Walmart, supermarkets, guys. Nothing is off the table.
Yeah.
I mean, it was easier for me when I came because I spoke French. So I had French and English. So it was, I wouldn't say it's very easy, but agencies were happy to call me because I spoke French. So that was good. So number 3, we'll like to talk about sales. So buying stuff when you get here.
Clothes.
Yeah. So when you get to Canada, things are not as expensive. Well, things are not as cheap as they would be in the US.
In the US, no.
Normally, when you go to the US, things are very cheap, like $2, $3.
Yeah.
In Canada, I won't say everything is expensive, but they are not as cheap.
They're not as cheap.
What we use to buy a lot of clothes and a lot of stuff, like curtains, sheet sets, that kind of stuff, liquidation sales.
Yes.
In Ontario, liquidation sales happen a lot. I'm not sure about the other provinces, but definitely in our city, in Ottawa, there are a bunch of liquidation sales.
It is recommended that you buy things from home, pay for an extra luggage from home, and buy clothes that you're used to from where you're used to buying them.
Because you know where to find bargains at home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're familiar with there, you understand? So it's basically pay for your extra luggage, then come here and can find things in your price range or in your, because as we say, what we are trying to help you to do is to retain as much money as possible when you just get here.
Yeah, and I think it's very important to do something like that when you just get here, because that was an issue for me as well. I came with very little clothes and probably like 2 pairs of shoes. That was a big mistake. I came in February, so spring was coming, summer was coming. So majority of my clothes that I used to wear in Jamaica could have been worn here during the summer. And I left them in Jamaica. So that left me in a sticky spot where I had to be buying outfits and shoes. So yeah, as he said, definitely go to the bargain area in your country, pack a bag with some very reliable clothes, and then pay for extra luggage and then come, so that you at least have clothes to buffer until you find what you need to find, or you learn your city, because you won't learn it at first. I mean, we still don't know Ottawa.
And with that, we can really go into the next topic of, or the next point of, considering the change in season. With your clothes, consider the change in season, because believe me, certain country, certain country we can wear t-shirt and shorts all year round. But here, you have to understand, say, you need clothes for the different season, all 4 of them. Think about it, all 4 of them, because some things where you can wear in a spring, you can't wear them in a summer. You will suffocate, you will burn up. And then when autumn come back again, the little cold, you need windbreaker and them something that then winter coming, you need something heavy. So think about if you get here for the summer, try find places that are having sales on winter outfit. They might have a
that's restock, the best time to buy winter clothes as well,
where they're trying to get out the last season clothes to put in new season. So that would be the best way to get something reliable for cheap.
Yeah, because that's what we did majority of the time for me as well. That's how I got my winter jacket. A liquidation sale was happening at the end of February, early March, and when we went there, they had coats on sale. So I bought my coat for $80 maybe, and usually it would be like $150 or something like that, you know. So that is a good way to buy coats.
Yeah.
Everybody who's coming to Canada definitely research the cold weather. I know that for sure.
And research on where specific you're going, because
true.
Toronto winter is different from Ottawa winter.
But at the end of the day, like if you're coming from a cold country, you know.
Coming to a cold country?
No, as in if you're coming from a cold country, I think you're kind of okay with assimilating. But I think if you're coming from a tropical country, fly high, fly low, all of these winters are like the same. As in, every province is going to feel like the same.
Don't feel like the same until you eventually start identifying the difference.
So it's just knowing that the winter in Canada is just generally bitter. It's a very bitter cold that literally, I don't even know, but it's rough. And if you're taking the bus and everything like that, it's very cool. So you just have to know that once you get here, ensure that you layer up. If you have children, ensure that you moisturize their face and their skin properly, cover them up, bundle them up properly, because I mean, for us, we have a toddler who doesn't really, he's not really expressing himself as much as we'd want him to yet. Yeah. So if he's cold, we won't really know. No. He'll just seem miserable, and we'll just have to think that probably he's cool. Yeah. So we had to bundle him up properly and that kind of thing. Costco is a very, I would recommend getting a Costco
card straight off the
bat. Card, yeah, because there's a lot of things that you can get at Costco for cheap, especially if you're here as a family. If it's just you alone.
And they do have branded things, so if you're big on brand, you will get things on brand from Costco.
Yeah.
The thing is, I think the next point we want to get into is your second day of being here. So if you come off the plane today, basically what I would recommend you do tomorrow is sort out a bus card for transportation purposes, sort out banking information to include, starting a bank account wherever you are, and what was the third thing? The third thing was the bank card. A
bus
phone.
Card and a phone.
A phone. Because,
so if you have a phone, you just can get a SIM card.
Yeah, if you have a phone.
In the beginning, I would recommend just getting a SIM card.
Yeah, if you have a phone that is open, a certain way. You can get a SIM card, because what that will help you with is traveling. Remember, in our case, it's the first we're being here. We don't have any family here, and it's best to also find out who you know that is close to you. That was one of my biggest and greatest things blessing when I got here, because I came here under the impression that I don't know anyone here. The school provided me with about 3 days of accommodations at a hotel, and on the third day you need to get out, you need to go. And I found out that one of my friends that was working with me at J&J was here, and as such I was
in Jamaica.
In Jamaica, I was able to bunk it with him for a few days, because even so, I had found somewhere, but the place that I found wasn't ready until a few days later. So what would you do in that case? It's either Airbnb, which is another way of blowing cash. So I mean, try to find out people.
But if you definitely don't know anyone, this is where your extra cash comes in as cushion. Yeah. And this is where the get a job as soon as you come here comes in. Yeah. So you have to have money to cushion you for at least the first week, where you know that you're safe to spend this money, because if you don't have money like that to spend, you're going to go broke in a very quick time, and that will not work out well. You have job websites here that you can search for work. You have Kijiji that you can search for work. Indeed. Really? Would you recommend Kijiji? Kijiji, yes. Okay. In some sense. You understand? I would definitely say Indeed. Indeed is a big platform. And if you have a LinkedIn profile, update your LinkedIn profile, because people use that a lot here in Canada. Yes. So LinkedIn is very reliable. People approach you on LinkedIn here. Okay. So if you've been driving in your home country, I think it's best to get, in Jamaica, it's called an abstract of your driving.
Yeah.
So for your home country, you just need to get something that shows your record of driving.
Yeah,
you get that printed. Yeah, you get that printed out, and you take that with you to Canada.
Yes.
In Ontario, this is specifically for Ontario. I'm not sure what it's like in other provinces. In Ontario, you would provide that abstract or that profile of that record of your driving. So you take it to the drive test. You would hand it over there, and you would get set to do your exam for the G1, right?
Yeah, basically the G1 is just a written test. Yeah,
it's just a written test. So this just helps you get to the written test stage.
In Jamaica, it would be for our learners then.
Yeah. So after you do the written test, if you pass that, you can advance to the G. Which would enable you to drive on highways and that's just
basically an open license.
Yeah, so it's just an open license where you can go anywhere. However, if you fail the G, you would go back to a G2.
Yeah, so that's basically
which is a limited license.
Yes, a limited
license. It's also limited extra based on your age.
Yes.
So if you're over 18, I believe,
you can't be caught on the road
at a certain time of night, between a certain period of time.
12 to 5 a.m.
Okay, and with a limited amount of passengers, that kind of thing. So that's just the thing in Ontario with the driver's license. You have G1, G2, and the G. The G is the one that you want to have.
Yes.
But if you do have the G2 and you're a certain age, I don't think it's an inconvenience.
It's not.
So that's something very important to have, because I think if you don't come with your abstract or your record, your driving record,
you're gonna have to start from the G1, then
wait the time.
G2, the time, which is about a year, because they expect you.
I think you have to wait a year for all three of them, right?
Yeah.
Well, for the two of them, G1 and G2,
Yeah.
Okay, so last but not least, what I would recommend to spouses who are coming to their partners in Canada, I would recommend that you apply for the spousal open work permit from your home country.
Yeah.
It takes
about 3 months.
Well, in Canada it took me from February to May.
Okay.
So is that 3 months? Yeah, because May is so that took about it took a very long time. And I mean,
it can be forever if you're here waiting.
And you're not doing anything every day, right? Yeah. So at least in your home country, at least you're working, and I've heard of people coming to Canada, applying for it here. Yeah, on a visit. They apply for it here and then they go back home.
Wait for the approval and then return when it's approved.
Exactly. So I think I would recommend to persons that it's best to do that in a smart way. As I said, I came here for a visit in February and then I applied that way, and it took a very long time. It was very stressful as well, because as I said, you were just waiting for it to be approved and you're not working and you're trying to save money. Yeah. So, and he was working on limited hours as a student.
You only can work for like 20 hours.
Yeah, 20 hours or less per week. That's not really ideal.
Yeah.
So this is just part 1 in our Moving to Canada series. We'll be coming back with more information throughout this year as we go along, because we have a lot of information to share, and we know that a lot of persons are moving to Canada. So if you did like this video, please give us a thumbs up, comment, ask us any questions you have.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Ask if you have any questions. Feel free to ask.
We won't be afraid to ask anything. And if you don't want to ask in public in the comments, there's an email address also in the description box, so you can go ahead.
Or you can DM imperfectlynatalya on her
Instagram. Yeah. So
the Instagram is gonna be right here.
So as I said, subscribe so that you can see the videos that will be coming in future, because we'll definitely drop more videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next week.
Later.
Bye.